Hey, you awesome humans. I'm just chilling here with my little one, little Layla. And there's a lot of guys who've been coming through recently into the group. And on the group entry questions, have been saying, I'm lacking direction. I want direction. I need to figure out my direction. I'm not sure where to go next. So I thought I'd just jump on quickly and do this live because I know exactly what you're talking about. And from two different perspectives. I've lacked direction from when things were not very good, and I've lacked direction when things have been exceptionally good. So I'm going to run you through my story and how I found it, because hopefully this is going to help you. Now, first of all, how do you know if you're lacking direction? The main symptoms, the main reasons you can tell if you're lacking direction, if you just feel lost. You're motivated, but you're not motivated at the same time. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do next. What's going to be your next business? What's going to be your next venture? Where do you want to take your business? What do you want to do with your career? Are you stuck? Have you hit a ceiling? Are you not feeling the way that you used to about your job? Does it just feel like this vision that you had for yourself, it's not playing out, or you don't feel that way that you used to feel? So I'm going to start off first of all with my story of when I'm going to start first of all with when things were really good, and then afterwards I'm going to go through and talk about when things weren't really good. Now, before I get into it, this all revolves around something called the Summit. The Summit is a little system that I designed about a year ago now, which is really effective for fixing up a lack of direction, a lack of clarity. So if you feel like you have a lack of direction, you feel like you have a lack of clarity, and you would like to have access to the Summit, just comment Summit anytime through this video, and I'll make sure that I send it across to you. I tell you what, there's one thing that gives you direction. It's when you have a baby, when you have a kid, it's like the most incredible direction where you know that all you have to do is be a fucking incredible dad. But anyway, off that tangent, if you want access to the Summit, just comment Summit, and I'll make sure that I send it through to you, myself or Josh will. Now, in terms of when I lack direction, when things were really good. So pretty much I'd made a substantial amount of money. We had a number of really awesome assets which appreciated ridiculously quite recently, and it made me millions, right? And it put me in a position where I never had to work again. I had money where we can well and truly live off the interest. You know, my family we can live off the interest for the rest of our life, and you know it's not going to be I wouldn't be living a mere existence by any means. Like there's plenty of assets in there to keep us going for a very long time, and it was a real mind fuck because I was like, shit, I wasn't planning to be at this level of wealth until I was in my 40s or 50s or 60s, right? Because I've never been like totally very money driven. If I'm perfectly frank, I never really cared about it. I'm more of a work driven guy, and so I achieved this level of wealth where things just got, well, I don't care. Like nothing matters. Where to next? Because in the past, I was always working towards and trying to achieve this massive goal of X amount that I wanted to have per year to be able to live off passive income. And once I achieved it, it was like everything was just like done. So I thought, fuck, okay, what am I going to do now? I've achieved it all. I've ticked it off. I've got the girl. You know, at the time we had little Layla. She was on her way into the existence. We've already bought a house. Like that's all covered. We've got the dog. I've got the chickens. I've got literally everything. Sorry, Layla's just spat out a bag. There you go. I had everything, and I was like, cool, what next? I have absolutely everything. I've already got this, sexy little convertible that I drive. I've got everything that I can think of. We go on holidays all the time. Can you please take that, my love? Why are you spitting it out? You don't want to spit it out. There we go. And I already had everything. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do next? And really, this was a weird feeling because I felt like I was kind of depressed. I felt like I was depressed because it was like I had everything was good, but I wasn't driven, I wasn't motivated, I didn't do anything, I worked fuck all, I literally just did nothing, I just bummed around and I didn't feel like I was contributing anything. And so the first thing, she keeps spitting it out. You'll take her? Yeah. Thank you, my lovely.
That's okay.
Why do you keep spitting it out? You don't want to... Give me a sec, guys.
No. Come on, Papa.
You keep spitting it out. I don't know why.
Come on, Papa.
You alright? You got a blanket?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Layla for the night. She's had a funny day today. But I was in a state where I was depressed and I wasn't motivated and nothing was getting done. And so pretty much it came down to several things that actually ended up getting out of it. Number one, I've got a really fantastic mentor. You guys know that I heavily believe in mentoring. I spend about $300,000 a year on mentoring. and just learning. Why? Why do I spend so much money? Because it's a shortcut and it makes me a lot more than $300,000 a year. I believe that we should always look at investments in ourselves as binary. Is this going to make me back more than what I'm going to put in? If the answer is yes, then fucking do it. If the answer is no, don't do it. Simple as that. And I make substantially more than $300,000 a year thanks to my mentors. And so I was chatting with one of my mentors and he's been through the same thing. So whenever you hire a mentor, you should always hire someone whose life you would like to emulate, at least a portion of that life. And this guy has built and sold multiple businesses, all 7 and 8 figure businesses, and now lives a really, really cool life with his kid and with the businesses that he currently runs as well. And I was talking with him about it. I was like, dude, like I'm lost as fuck. Like Charlie's his name. I was like, dude, I'm lost as fuck. Like I've made all this money, like I don't know what to do. And we went through and we started talking about it and started setting some extra business goals. So the first thing I did was go out and actually talk to somebody who's been in that position before and went and got direct help from them. The second thing after that is perspective from my team. One of the things that we do here at JCF is we care for people. Right? We're a very heart-centered business, and what we do is everything is about service. And when you're in a heart-centered business and you're all about service all the time, sometimes you forget about the little things around you, the things that really matter. And I was talking with our CEO, Josh. Josh, you'll see, you know Josh. You guys have all seen Josh on here. And I was talking with him about it and talking about like, what are we actually going to do? Who are we doing this for? What's the purpose of this all? And really, it just came out to me that it was just for the people, for you guys who I get to talk to, and then for our clients, and then also on top of that too, for our team at JCF. And I really forgot. I was like, fuck, like there are actually people around this. Like if I'm not doing like what I'm doing at the moment, if I'm not pushing hard, if I'm not making things happen, I'm actually letting other people down around me. And it's one thing that we don't think, right? It's like we think that when we're lost, when we don't have direction, we're just thinking about what do we want. We start forgetting about how we're going to serve others around us. And so if we can start serving others around us more, that is like an absolute game changer. And that was pretty much the light bulb for me. Is like as soon as it was about not just about me, not just about my direction anymore, and instead it was more about the service that I'm going to give to my crew, to my team, my employees, to everyone who's involved with JCF, it suddenly became a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more fun. But the biggest part was setting up a summit, making sure that I actually had a summit to work towards. And what a summit is like a very, very large goal, something which is important to you and in alignment with your values. And comment summit if you want access to the summit training. I think it's going to be very, very helpful for you if you are lacking direction. But with the summit, the key part of it is mapping out where you are right now. What do you like about your life? What do you not like about your life? Where do you want to be? What do you like about that? What do you not like about that? And then what is the gap in the middle, okay? And the important thing about all three of these aspects, where you are right now, where you want to be, and the gap, is that you need to have your perspective, but also the perspective of an outsider as well. Because if you don't have the perspective of an outsider, you don't have anyone to challenge you. Because I'll put it to you this way. Imagine you're on an island, okay? You're on a desert island, and you just keep walking around this desert island, around, and all you see everywhere is just water. And you want to get back to mainland because this island's fucking shit, and you're sick of eating coconuts, and you just want to get back to the mainland, right? And you just keep walking around the beach, walking around the rim of the island over and over and over and over again. All you see is water. Water for miles, water for miles. Day in, day out, it's just water. Now, there's a mountain in the middle of the island, but you've never climbed that mountain. Why? Because you just haven't, because you just keep walking around. So if you go and you talk to the person who has, let's say there's a person who's climbed up the top of the mountain, right? The person who's climbed up the top of the mountain, or if you climb up to the top of the mountain, you're going to get a very, very different perspective from at the mountain compared to when you're down at the beach, right? But the thing is, you can't have both perspectives at the same time. And so that's why it's important to have somebody else with a different perspective. Because if you climb up the mountain, you'll be able to see, maybe you'll be able to see that mainland's only a couple of kilometers away. And just because you were so close down to the water, you couldn't see the mainland, right? And so once you've climbed the mountain, you have the perspective of someone else, or a different perspective to what you have at the time, you'll be much, much more clear in the direction that you need to go. Does that make sense? Okay. So having someone else's perspective is really, really important. Now, the second time where I lost all direction, lost all clarity, was when my life was really not fucking fun. This is a